The video opens by making one thing immediately clear. Diddy's biggest problem isn't just the courtroom, and it isn't even the headlines. It's the growing realization that the public may have only seen a fraction of what exists behind the scenes. The narrator explains that everything shifted the moment 50 Cent publicly confirmed he's sitting on a massive archive of unreleased material. Not rumors, not speculation, actual footage. The kind of footage that doesn't rely on opinion, but lets people watch events unfold for themselves. What makes this especially dangerous is where 50 hints this content could end up. Not locked behind a streaming service, not filtered through lawyers and networks, but dropped directly on YouTube where anyone can see it. The narrator emphasizes how that alone changes the power dynamic. No edits, no gatekeepers, just raw material hitting the internet at full speed. And right away, the question isn't if more is coming, but how much damage one upload could really do. Because if this much chaos came from what aired already, the unseen footage may be the part that changes everything.
As the video continues, the narrator explains that 50 Cent openly admits the documentary barely scratched the surface. Only 4 episodes made it to Netflix, and that wasn't because material was lacking. It was because there was simply too much to include. Hours and hours of recordings, conversations, and moments that didn't fit into a clean structure. The narrator points out that when someone says they had to pick and choose, it means certain things were deliberately left behind, not because they weren't important, but because they were too explosive to release all at once. The video leans into the idea that some footage could reshape how people understand Diddy's personal relationships, his decision-making, and the way power operated around him. And when 50 casually says he might just post the rest online, it lands like a warning. Because unlike a documentary, YouTube doesn't come with disclaimers or pacing. It just drops. The narrator makes it clear that what didn't air may end up being more impactful than what did, simply because it hasn't been softened for storytelling.
At this point, the video shifts focus to something more specific, a name that keeps appearing across different accounts, different accusations, and different timelines: Neil Dominique. The narrator carefully explains that this name didn't surface once or twice. It showed up repeatedly, tied to claims of organizing, coordinating, and handling sensitive matters behind the scenes. Allegedly, footage exists showing actions that raise serious questions, including interactions that could be interpreted as pressure, influence, or interference. The narrator stresses that nothing here is being stated as proven fact, but the consistency is what makes it alarming. Different people, different situations, yet the same name. The video explains how this pattern alone is enough to make investigators and viewers pause, because when stories align without coordination, it suggests something deeper may be happening. And according to the narrator, the existence of video evidence, regardless of outcome, means this isn't just talk. It's something people may eventually see for themselves.
The narrator then walks viewers through a timeline that feels unsettling in its simplicity. A former insider cooperates with authorities. A short period passes, then suddenly contact is made from Diddy's legal team. The video doesn't claim how information traveled, but it highlights how fast it happened. The narrator explains that for witnesses, this kind of sequence creates fear. Even if nothing illegal occurred, the psychological impact alone is enough to silence people. The video connects this moment to other accounts of individuals who felt watched, pressured, or discouraged from speaking further. It paints a picture of an environment where cooperation came with consequences, even if those consequences were subtle. And the narrator makes it clear why this matters now, because footage reportedly exists showing conversations and planning that could clarify whether these were coincidences or coordinated responses. That possibility alone changes everything. One of the most shocking moments in the video comes when the narrator explains that Diddy allegedly recorded private conversations with his own lawyer, not secretly from the public,
but without informing the attorney himself. The narrator breaks down why this is such a massive mistake. Attorney-client privilege relies on trust and privacy. Introducing a third party, especially a camera, risks destroying that protection entirely. Legal experts describe this as a betrayal that could unravel years of defense strategy. The narrator emphasizes how this doesn't look like confidence, it looks like panic. A move made by someone trying to control every angle, even at the cost of their own safety. And once that trust is broken, there's no way to undo it. The video frames this moment as a turning point, where Diddy may have unknowingly caused more harm to himself than any accusation ever could.
The final section focuses on what wasn't included in the documentary at all: the death of Anthony Wolf Jones, a figure deeply connected to Diddy's security world. The narrator explains that former insiders insist this wasn't a side story, but a crucial chapter. Wolf reportedly lost his life while handling protection and logistics tied directly to Diddy. According to those speaking now, this incident reflects the dangerous dynamics of power, loyalty, and silence that defined that era. The narrator points out that leaving this story out doesn't make it disappear. In fact, it raises more questions than answers. And as the video closes, the narrator connects all the dots: unreleased footage, silenced voices, legal pressure, broken trust. The message is clear. For years, power kept everything contained. But now, with evidence surfacing and fear fading, the truth may not stay buried much longer.